The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Friday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We got about 24 minutes to go until the start of trading, and we have a little bit of inflation data. We got a little bit of hot inflation data, and you got markets starting off to the downside right now. We got the S&Ps negative by about 27 points. And you see that acceleration right at 8:30, right? We were down here at this price level at about 4 a.m., and we're right back where we were. NASDAQ 100 down about 130 points, or about 0.2%, 19,863. S&Ps right now just dipping below those market lows. S&Ps off by about 26 points, 57.12 right now. We jump to the Dow right now, negative by 151 points, 42,446, and the Russell, negative by 7. Bitcoin trading with growth stocks. Little 8:30 volatility. Bitcoin down about $2,000 right now, 85,295. Crude chopping around $70. We're at 69.87. How about gold? It don't stop, folks. 31.24. Now, we got a little bit of a rollover on the futures, but we're up $100 from where we were at on Wednesday. Yeah, you talk about it, man. 31.24 right now. Gold up another $23 on the session, or about 0.8% at 31.14. We jump over to the 10-year, higher price and lower yield. What's interesting here is, all right, we have hot inflation numbers, and you have some yield volatility with yields actually dropping from where we were yesterday. So higher price, lower yield, but that may not last. We're going to get some volatility around these inflation numbers as we open. But we have 4.31, the yield on the 10-year right now. When you jump over to the dollar, as we're dropping, dollar dropping at 104.26 right now. All right, let's jump over to those inflation numbers. So the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, scroll it to the top, and that's how they put it. The core PCE, personal consumption expenditures, price index, 0.4% for the month and 2.8% year over year. Those numbers both hot by about 0.1%. Yeah. And yeah, you know, our tariffs starting to creep in. It's possible. It's going to be really tough. And you heard Chairman Powell say this, right? It's going to be really tough to figure out which part of the inflation is tariffs, which could be a one-time price adjustment, and which time is not. The tough part is, once the genie's out of the bottle, very difficult to put it back in the bottle. We're dealing with inflation here. We're throwing some tariffs on top of it. Those are taxes, which increase the prices, which increase inflation. And yeah, this is the biggest back-to-back advance since 2022. Yeah. We just got back-to-back 0.4% months. We're at 0.8% over the last 60 days. Folks, core PCE is up 0.8% over the last 60 days. We're supposed to be at 2%. We're not even close, right? So it's going to throw a little bit of fire on everything going on. You look over to CNBC, 2.8% is the headline, 0.4% is the monthly number. Excuse me. Now, on the headline number, 0.3 and 2.5, okay? But yeah. Consumer spending accelerated 0.4% for the month, below the 0.5% forecast as well. That came as personal income posted a 0.8% rise against an estimate of 0.4%. Folks, it's not good news, all right? You have consumer spending going up less than thought. You have inflation more than anticipated and income more than anticipated. So income's going up, which is going to fuel inflation. Inflation is going up, but actually consumer spending accelerating less. That's not what you want at all, right? I mean, that's not stagflation, but it's the hallmarks of it. It's inflation without the growth, right? We will see. And boy, are we going to get CoreWeave today? This one's going to be an interesting one. So the news out last night that NVIDIA had to anchor this thing with a $250 million order at $40. And that's how they anchor it. And they're going to raise just $1.5 billion now is what they're doing. And think about it. They're raising $1.5 billion, but $250 million of that's coming from NVIDIA. They put it in here? They better. They don't even have it in here? Yeah, be careful of this CoreWeave one. I was talking about it yesterday, folks. The company records a net loss of $863 million, and all of their chips are outdated. So they have a huge capital expenditure coming down the line, whether it's debt, whether it's CapEx, whatever it is. Yeah, and they don't even, there it is, yeah. NVIDIA, their largest shareholder, is going to come in and buy, what, 1 out of every almost 6 shares that are going to public at $40. They're supporting their own investment. They're not investing at $40. So be careful of that one, man, because, yeah, spikes up, to say the least, on that one. Got a little bit of a cold this morning. But we'll get over it. All right, let's jump around to some other equities they're trading this morning. I was talking to Jacob last night. Lululemon, how about it, man? Watch out. Whew. So, you jump over to Lulu. This thing's been a rocket ship. Take a look at a longer-term chart first. Yeah, some volatility. But we've been on a run since 225 all the way up to 400. But no, the decline has begun, and we're going to open at 300, just like that. Look at this thing, man. Put it on the daily. Yeah, we're going to give back everything we just got in the last 15 days of Lululemon in a heartbeat. We're going to trade lower by about 12%. And yeah, you check it out. And it's all about the forecast, right? 2024-5 guidance that disappointed investors. So first quarter revenue, they're looking for 2.34 to 2.36. The market was looking for 2.39. And yeah, full year, they're looking for 11.15 to 11.3, and the market was looking for just above that. And look how you get punished, right? Gross margin is going to fall 0.6 percentage points due to higher fixed costs. And guess what? Tariffs. Yeah, you're going to see the grind here in the market. We'll see how we digest it. Digesting it so far this morning. Got some hot inflation data, and we get the markets barely in the red. No real huge move. S&P only down about $13. We have persistent inflation kicking in this market. You got the dollar pulling back to 104.28 right now, and we got that gold contract, 31.08. For all-time highs yet again for that gold contract. You talk about a run, man. We might be at that 33, 36 price point before you know it, man. Right? We made a quick run from February up to 2,800. We're doing it again. Gold up $18 right now. Stay tuned, folks. We'll come back. We'll talk some equities. Friday trading. Don't go away.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&Ps off by 9 right now. NASDAQ 100 off by 46. Dow off by 54. You jump over to some of the car companies. Quite the day yesterday, of course, down to $47. And today, we're trading right now, chopping around at the same area. GM, trading basically flat, 47.20. Jump over to Ford shares. Yeah, trading down about 987 right now. We jump to Stellantis. Fiat Chrysler, basically flat at 1166. We jump over to Ferrari. Yeah, and Ferrari has already said they're raising prices, folks. Okay? And what's going to be tough here is it's going to be the people that are hit the hardest, and that's usually how consumption taxes work, right? And this is a consumption tax. A tariff is a consumption tax, okay? And so the Journal has an article out last night, I was reading it early this morning, that Trump has warned the automakers not to raise prices. Folks, this isn't how things work, okay? You can try, you can apply some pressure as president, but that's not how it works, okay? Now, yeah, they can move all of their production to the U.S., and maybe they can transform it there. That's going to take years. And I struggle to understand how that one's going to play out, to put it lightly, okay? I mean, his words, the president's, you're going to see prices going down. You're going to see prices going down, but going to go down specifically because they're going to buy what we're doing, incentivizing companies to, and even companies to come to America. I don't understand, okay? None of it makes sense. I'm not being political. None of it makes sense, folks. You can't do it. You either got to take the pain in the beginning for a longer-term goal. That's how it works. Okay? You take the pain for the long-term goal. You can't have the long-term appreciation without a little short-term pain. That's how it is in most things in life. And what you're hearing right now is that there'll be no short-term pain, and then every time there's short-term pain, it's actually better when the market goes down, right? All this stuff. That should have your spikes up everywhere. The president can't put a 25% tariff on car companies and tell them they can't raise prices. Okay? It's not how it's going to work. Not how it's going to work. I don't know how it's going to work, but that's not how it's going to work. Surprising to see that that's how it played out. And yeah, they're obviously worried that they're going to face reprisal from the president for simply just trying to sell a vehicle at a price that they aren't going to lose money, because they're not going to sell cars if they're just going to lose money, in period. Yeah. It's not how it's going to happen. I mean, you got a parts supplier out here, and we're all talking our book, okay? He's talking his book. Boy, if you're a parts supplier, last thing you want is tariffs. Tariffs at any level cannot be offset or absorbed, right? Yeah. Dealers have stockpiled 2 to 3 months of supplies. If you're looking for a car, get out there right now and get it. That's it. Don't wait. The risk reward. There's no reward in waiting. Prices aren't going down. Everyone's hopeful they'll stay the same to a certain degree. But you see, Ferrari already came out and said they're raising them 10 to 15%. And you're going to see the raises, especially on the bottom side as well. There's no margins there. If there were margins there that they could finagle with to the tune of 10 to 25%. Okay? Anyway, for what it's worth, right? Man, Myanmar. 7.7 magnitude strike. And hopefully you hope for the best. Send some prayers out there to the people, folks, because, boy, you got skyscrapers shaking. Always a scary one. You read stories like this. Haven't seen any of the videos yet, but especially in areas like that where buildings not built to withstand some of the effects that are going to happen when you have a earthquake like that. But 7.7. I still find myself watching some of those videos from those remarkable tsunamis that took place going back to when? 2002, 2003. Mother Nature. There is nothing like Mother Nature. Man, the raw power. So say some prayers, man. So they had a 7.7 magnitude earthquake in the early afternoon. Yeah, and there's a couple. Oof, look at those buildings just crumbling. My goodness. Oh. Bangkok. A high-rise building collapsing. Whew. Yeah, nothing like Mother Nature, man. I watch those videos of that tsunami sometimes because it just blows me away. Something can have that kind of strength sometimes. All right, jump around. What else have we got going on? Yeah. Excuse me. As I said, the tariffs. Now, there's no alternative. We'll talk a little China, right? You talk China. Obviously in focus, okay. There is no finding another American consumer, folks. All right, just the headline alone. Chinese exporters hunt for alternatives to irreplaceable U.S. buyers. American consumerism, there is nothing like it, okay? But yeah, you better believe that they're going to try, because guess what? Yeah, 20 to 25% of the cost, and they're going to try and scamble. It's going to take years for this to play out, but we're going to start seeing it play out in months if you see that time creep, as we're going to see that time creep like we talk about with the car dealers. Yeah, and there it is, Bangkok, disaster zone. Oh, say some prayers, folks, because there's some people in some real pain right now over there. And that's a tough deal. Workers in those buildings, all that stuff, just enjoying their day. They got kids, they got family over there. That's a tough one. Whew. All right, let's check out some of the FANG stocks as we kick off trading. You got Amazon shares right now. They're going to open down by about $1 to 200. Trading at $199.69 right now. You jump over to Microsoft shares. Less than 5 minutes to go to the opening bell. Trading at about $388 for Microsoft. We jump over to NVIDIA. slightly in the positive this morning. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with CoreWeave. I mean, as a NVIDIA investor, I probably wouldn't be happy that they're putting, what is $250 million? That's a $10 billion order. No, $250 million order at $40 a share. That's what it is. Okay, I was thinking, still, they're putting $250 million. I guess it's nothing for the size of this company. But they're basically propping up the CoreWeave IPO. Yeah. Jump over to the other chip stocks. Intel shares right now trading at $23.62. Jump over to AMD, trading slightly lower at about $105. If you listen to Bloomberg Radio, there are a lot of ads for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, OCI, running on Bloomberg Radio. And I found myself saying, they say that you can save 50% off your cloud infrastructure. They're great commercials. They are. If you can really save, if I was running a cloud infrastructure business, I'd be digging into the costs of Oracle. Oracle, though, pulling back from the highs. We're coming back for the open. Markets in the red, folks. Friday trading. Don't go away.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, traversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs, trade wars, analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are March 14th and 28th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets open, digesting a little bit of a hot inflation number for the core PCE, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. And you jump over and we got markets picking things up in negative territory. NASDAQ 100 off by about 0.5%. S&P's off by about 0.25%. You get the Dow off by about 0.2% right now. Let's see how some of the retail stocks are trading this morning. You look at Walmart shares, basically flat. Jump over to Target. Okay, Target down about 2%. Jump over to Kohl's. We've been talking about Kohl's. Yeah, it is remarkable how many companies, I guess the best time to pile on a short is like the last mile of a company, right? When the writing's basically on the wall. And from a risk-reward perspective, it's such a small value that you're shorting that sometimes it doesn't make sense. But I'll give you the comparable. Because I found myself saying this yesterday. I was talking about Kohl's yesterday, down another 2% today. Don't touch Kohl's, folks, okay? You look at the monthly, we're below where we were on the COVID lows, okay? And you're back to where we were at the depths of 1996. Can't see why, at least technically on this chart, as you're trading lower with volume too, okay? We have 285 million shares traded this month on Kohl's. You're bumping up, and we're actually above. Yeah, we're above the COVID lows for volume, right? You're trading lower on a monthly with volume. Remarkable. What is ridiculous, though, is that it's one of those scenarios, and this is how the short sellers think, I'm going to put it. There's a 90% chance they're going to go bankrupt. I'm just picking numbers, okay? That's not what I'm putting on Kohl's. Let's just say that you, as an investor, think that there's a 90% chance that they're going to go BK. And as long as you're risking less than $90 to make that 100, right? You're going to make that money more than 9 out of 10 times. And I think a lot of times when these companies come in and they short, they're 99% sure almost that they're going BK. The business isn't working. It's just a matter of time until they run out of options. And yeah, I mean, you look at this equity, right? You drop 50% on the week of March 10th. Okay, you back it up on a daily. You drop off on earnings. You were at $12. Boom, you're at $8 within 4 days. And you do it on volume of 50 million shares in a day, folks. 50 million shares in a day. Right? Folks, look at the monthly volumes on this thing. We just did 50 million shares in a day. We did 138 million shares all of January. We did 146 million shares all of February. And you did 50 million shares on one day when you lost 50% of your value. So stay away from Kohl's. On the flip side of that, TJX. Let's back this up to a weekly. That's a nice bounce. Look at this channel line, right? We talked about this. TJX still down about 0.8%. And yeah, market's rolling over, man. I'd be very wary of this market right now, folks. Okay, the news we just got is that inflation is hot. Consumer spending is not hot. It's right what the Fed's been forecasting, right? What did the Fed do? They just increased their expectations for inflation and decreased the growth aspect of things. That's a problem. And now we're seeing it in the numbers, back to back, 0.4% on a monthly basis. So what does that mean? That means for January and February alone, core PCE is up 0.8% in those 60 days. We're almost at the end of March, right? So that's lagging data. Think about it. That's lagging data. And in the tariff inflations are going to be coming down the line. I mean, we saw, right? Car companies have about 2 to 3 months of vehicles on the lots. What happens in 2 to 3 months? Well, what happens in 2 to 3 months is they have to start paying 25%, and they're going to transfer as many of those costs as they can to consumers. So yeah, how does the market trade with that, right? We will find out. Amazon down about 1.7% to kick off the trading session right now. Jump over to the big dog. Apple down about 0.9%. Nvidia hanging on to positive gains by 0.2% right now. Google shares down about 0.4% right now. Netflix, a little volatility, down about 0.8%. We jump over to Tesla shares, down about 1.3% so far. All right, we keep our eye on the dollar. All right, dollar finally catching a little bit of a bid. We've been trading lower since 8:30 this morning. Those are 15-minute bars. You trade lower all the way from 104.5 to 104.15, and we're at 104.20 right now on the dollar. And, on a daily basis, you did get a little bit of a bounce, but as we've been talking about, nothing too meaningful. Had a great conversation with our man Teddy Kegstad. And Wednesday, as we normally do, you're saying, yeah, this is not a change of trend. And I would encourage you to think the same way. You look at this chart, yes, it's been a little bit of a rally, not a change of trend, to say the least at all. And we got a little bit of higher price, lower yield right now coming at you. Yeah, and I would agree, no spin. They're going to try and raise prices as quickly as they can because it's all out there, As in, it's all out there. Why would you wait, right? Why would you not? And, they know they're going to face the wrath of the president, but he cannot control the market, folks. And that's what's most profound, that you can't control the market. And seeing that he's trying to control the market pricing of private companies, as in public markets, but private companies, they're not government companies. You can't tell them how to price things. He's trying to create, listen, what happens here, right? Right around. The point of tariffs is to create pain for these companies to force them to make changes, okay? If they could just go on as business as usual and not raise prices, then they wouldn't make changes. The reason why they would make changes is because things are so dire in the situation that they can't go on as business as usual. And they're not just going to lose money for years on end. The supply chains for these companies take years to transform. And it's one thing if the president says, listen, I'm thinking forward for all your kids 20, 30, 40 years into the future, right? We're going to take a little pain for the next 12 or 18 months. But within 2 years, we're going to have car companies producing cars in the U.S. and they can handle that 24 months. No, that's not what's being said right now. That's the difficult part of how this goes, right? So we'll find out. There's a quote about change, that change is hard. I forget I'm going to muff up the exact quote, but it's something like, I'll pull up the quote because I don't want to blow it. I'll pull up the quote at the next break. But change is hard, and it becomes hard, and then you finally make that change when it's not as hard, because doing nothing is actually hard, right? You're in a tough spot. You're in a tough spot in life, whether it's business, whether it's health, right? It's tough making changes on your health, especially at times, everything. And one of the impetuses to make that change is when things are so difficult at the status quo that change becomes the easier alternative. And that's kind of the deal with tariffs. But guess what? It's going to take some pain to have, multinational supply chains that have taken decades to install that encompass 30,000 parts that are made in multiple continents. Yeah, see where we go from there. But throw a little bit of inflation on top of it this morning for Friday trading, and markets slightly in the red. NASDAQ 100 off by 85. Stay tuned, folks. We'll take a look at some individual equities. We'll talk some gold equities when we get back as well. Don't go away.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direction. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direction.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey. Because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We got the markets in negative territory, bouncing around in both directions. We have Robinhood up here, down by $1.47 or 3.3%. We got a little bit of volatility this week as they announced some new plans with new services for Robinhood. And jumping over to Robinhood shares right now, it's pulling up their market cap. Come on, computer, keep up with me. Come on. There we go. $37.7 billion market cap. I bring it up because let's scroll to the headline. So Robinhood CEO sees Amazon-like subscription model. Folks, there's not going to be an Amazon-like subscription model. There's only one Prime. And this is, I mean, why not compare yourself to Amazon Prime, right? Loyalty in financial services. Now, what I will say is, okay, they're rolling out a monthly subscription for its product suite, okay? $5 a month for Robinhood Gold or $50 a year right away. And you see how Robinhood has pushed some of the other brokerages, whether it's, commission-free trading, the likes of, all of that stuff. A lot of these brokerages get away with a lot in terms of not providing you interest on the cash you're not doing anything with, okay? Thinkorswim's one of them. You're not getting any money, basically, from Schwab for the cash that's sitting there uninvested. Fidelity, on the other hand, you are. Fidelity, they put you right in your SPACs. You're getting about 4% right now for their money market fund, for unused funds. That alone is something that more brokerages should be doing, and maybe it will be, right? You don't need a lot of money in your Robinhood account to pay $50 a year for access to 4% uninvested cash. That's the biggest part of this announcement, in my opinion. All right. Now, yeah, they talk about different things here, whether you're talking about wealth management features, okay? You're talking about private banking services with tax advice and estate planning tools. I'm not sure that one's going to play out, okay? They're talking about loyalty, and they have a bunch of loyal followers. They do. The number of subscribers increased from about 1.5 million a year ago to 3.2 million today. They call that a 9-figure business, meaning it's at least $100 million in annual revenue. Well, they're a $40 billion company, folks, okay? So $100 million in annual revenue is a decent number, but you got to live up to the expectation of being a $40 billion company. And $100 million in annual revenue doesn't even compute. What's their growth going to be, right? Now, they double that in a year. but that's going to be a difficult climb. Okay? Will that monthly fee feel justified? Well, I'll tell you right away, folks. All right, I think what will probably happen is you're going to see some of the other brokerages. That's where I found myself saying the 4% should be happening. I think about it all the time. If you have uninvested cash in your brokerage account right now and you're not earning any money on it, you should think about putting that somewhere else. Just that simple, man. You still, right now, whether it's the money market right now, okay, in terms of what is earning right now, the Fidelity money market's earning 3.97% for overnight lending, okay? So I think you're going to see some other brokerages maybe match what they're doing there. And that may be the problem of how are you going to get on Robinhood, okay? I mean, recently, right, you check out Robinhood. And listen, Robinhood's a great company, but you're valued at $40 billion, folks. Okay, that's where you gotta reach that valuation, and you're at $40 billion after you just traded from $67 down to $42. And if you remember, folks, I remember it. That last earnings they had in February, they were making a lot of money off crypto. Okay, and yeah, crypto's here to stay, but I'm not sure it's the long-term type of success that investors are hoping for on that equity. But when I do see an announcement like this, okay. The other cool part they have here is wealth management, okay? And the service carries a 0.25% annual management fee capped at $250, though. And it's something that, if you're paying for managed investment advice, right? Like Fidelity, for instance, right? They have their, whatever they call them, their money managers, their financial planners probably, right? And you're paying about 1.5% for that service, whether you make money or not. And many times, folks, if you're a retiree, let's say you have $1 million in your retirement account, okay? Man, if you're paying Fidelity $15,000 every year to just put you in a basket of ETFs, that is a service that is worthwhile, and it might even make sense for some people, okay? If you have no financial awareness, right, you have no idea what you're doing, yes, it probably makes sense. You need to pay somebody for that awareness if you have none of it yourself. And many people don't, okay? But many times you can pay somebody an hourly or a fixed fee for a similar type of logic. And when you work on a percentage-based fee of funds, many times, the person can do the same amount of work to manage a $100,000 account as they'd have to do to manage $1 million account, and in some cases a $5 million account, and even above. So that's an advantageous. They're looking at that. But the 4%, I think you're going to see that happen because I think about it all the time. I look at the money I have in Thinkorswim. I look at Fidelity, and I say, what is going on, man, with Schwab getting away with not paying any money on uninvested funds? And you got to know that they're looking at these types of moves when you come out. And yeah, the market, kind of a similar reaction, right? You look at the pop in the pre-market on that news Wednesday night. You almost give it back yesterday with the market, and we're actually lower right now from that news at 42.59. And again, it's not hating on Robinhood. It's living up to almost a $40 billion valuation for that equity. Big numbers. All right, look at this, man. How about it? Harmony, 8.2% to the upside. Look at these equities, man. What do we got going for Harmony? You know what we got going for Harmony? Higher stock prices, I think. Remarkable. You check out New Gold. That stock is looking strong as well. Up $1.66. Sandstorm, one of the equities we have in the gold report, that's been on quite a run recently as well. And yeah, they just released, and we do own this one in the gold report right now. It's been quite a rocket ship, folks. If you want to check out the gold report, you can check it out under the newsletter tab at TFNN. And what day was it? The 24th, 25th? Yeah, so they came out, and they may purchase up to 20 million of its common shares, is what they announced on that real acceleration that began on the 25th. And that is a big number because that represents about 7% of their float is what they came out with for Sandstorm. Another one we have in the gold report, Kinross, up about 1.7%, making highs for the day. Eldorado Gold, up by 2.5%. It's almost no matter what you pick, folks. We'll take a look at some gold equities. We'll take a look at some silver. Gold, up $24 at $3,115. We'll be right back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We have the markets continuing to chop around with the S&Ps right now, negative by about 26 points, though, coming into the pre-market session lows, right where we were at about 4 in the morning as well, so critical area. We just traded to a low of about 57.09, and we're trading right now at 57.12. NASDAQ 100, pretty similar action. We're getting volatility in both directions, down about 120 points. You get the Dow, negative by about 240 right now, 42,357. Yeah, so let's we jump over to gold, trading at $3,117. We check in on silver. So silver finally hits the mark. 35.07 was the price point, hanging out there from October, and that was a nice way to break it yesterday, right? You surge higher, you do it with volume on that silver contract. We're trading at 35.35 right now. That's above where we were in 2024. Now, what's interesting on silver is you have this acceleration in 2011 that got you all the way up to almost $50, okay? So silver, a little bit even more parabolic than gold, not quite to those same levels for silver. You compare that to where gold was in 2010, 2011, right? Gold only to $1,750. And gold now at $3,100 versus silver back then was at $50. You're only at $35. So not all metals not created equally, right? To put it lightly. Now we take a look at some silver stocks. Okay, Pan American, they've been a strong one. You take a look at the daily, breaks back within its channel line. You pull it back on a 5-year weekly. And yeah, Pan American trading higher to $26.75 right now. Endeavor, yeah, look at that. Endeavor Silver, actually negative right now by 0.6% for Endeavor. Those silver stocks, man, struggling. But Harmony, whew, look at this, man. Harmony's up almost 10% right now. 14.12. Quite a run for Harmony shares. Jump over to Wheaton Precious Metals, up by 1% right now. Just mentioned New Gold, up by 2.6%. Eldorado, up by 2.6% right now. Gold, strong like bull, $3,116. All right, markets making session lows as we speak. The day is young, Friday trading. Folks, thanks so much for kicking off your trading day right here at TFNN. Stay tuned. Basil Chapman's coming up next. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, folks. We'll see you